With society as it is, many people have anxiety dreams from what they put themselves through in the workplace and with their relationships. The business of today many times forces its workers to frantically get the job done at all costs, which means it will cost those involved as they emotionally stressed for their survival. For some reason, most people keep thinking in the terms of what they are experiencing here and how life is. But what has been created here is what life isn't. Many times people are going through what they have actually put themselves through in the past, which are similar situations from past lives, because the unconscious likes to continually experience what it has come to know. It will take second best with the pleasure principle if it cannot get what it really wants. What I'm laying out here is how all the unaware humans of the earth are actually out of control, as they are controlled by their desires and their likes and their dislikes, and not real any sensibility. Boy, I think that's a mouthful. That is so true. As long as a person continues with their so-called normal life, they will be at the mercy of their subconscious mind and all it desires. And with the routine, the influence has a field day. The standard life only entails more karma and reincarnations. All those spooky movies about past lives and hauntings from the psychic realms are very true, and a lot of people do experience them because they have opened themselves up to the negative forces and do not know how to plug the holes. Only the real guides can ward off the offenders, and not those funny guys with crosses around their necks and the hocus-pocus smoking pots. Most religions are already part of so many of the mishaps in people's lives. Someone I have known for many years who used to attend my classes lives in Southern California, and for the most part is a sensible person, except when it comes to her emotional life. She has always hit the wall, so to speak. Well, this young gal has been a heavy drinker for the longest time and also hooked herself to someone psychic endeavors along with her strange family relationships. So it's not hard to see why she opened a hole in the psychic forces that was actually a type of doorway, like in the first Ghostbusters story. The portal was in her bedroom, and several other people I was teaching years ago experienced the gruesome entity that emerged from the opening. One fellow who was in my class actually wrestled with it late one night when he heard it coming into his house. This is not even a dream, but an actual physical encounter. Society does not understand the real and the awful negative forces that many are into. The radical so-called music of today, which is not really music, but bad vibrations, connects one to the lowest of the astral worlds, along with excessive alcohol and drugs, where all the demons reside and are constantly looking for a way to get at and influence others, and also destroy the humans. Many of those lost souls in the bowels of what the church calls their hell were once people like anyone else until they began to do dastardly deeds and align themselves with the lowest of influences. This is why I am so blatant about what I am exposing. I am actually trying to warn people, even the imbeciles who are always wanting to take complete control of the world. And everyone on it. Many of them will end up in the lower astral hells and will be waking up to a constant nightmare for the longest time. The astral hells are not eternal like the church wants their followers to believe, as they use the eternal damnation ploy because they want to scare them into being supportive and not wander about and give their time and money to someone else. The music and the movies today many times play to the negative emotions of people for their support and their money in the same way. If you have been paying attention to what I've written so far, then you'll see how the pleasure principle is working in people's lives almost without their consent. The pleasure principle is the basic nature of humans, and the marketing manipulators figured this out a long time ago when it started with the first prostitute. Today, people do themselves over with raunchy music, video games, cell phones that are stuck to their heads, and many being bored simply because they have no real purpose, challenge, or real adventure in their lives. So they are bored. There isn't anything else in their lives. So they really have a seemingly endless array of phenomena to get lost in. It is not my position to say what a person should or shouldn't do, but there is so much more to life. But it takes a lot of real effort to make it happen. The earth life is simply a dimension all of its own, among other dimensions, seen and unseen. Each basic level of life has many regions, states of consciousness, and vast multitudes of personal arenas any of us can experience. The basic principle of life is simply very simple. You pick up your own position. It is the same sense as one would choose their career, even though a person is still doing all other things that entail their life, such as raising a family, playing sports, taking trips, and fun, and having pleasure. But the center of operations is the career that one has chosen, because it supports everything else. And so it is with a really universal position, as it gives a person the absolute freedom to do whatever and be anywhere without restriction, as long as they do not interfere with anything else. The human awareness, which entails the pleasure principle, usually does not want to confront itself, and so much of the worthlessness it puts itself through. So instead, it creates agreements that look really good to the onlooking unaware. And voila, you have a whole gamut of institutionalized productions to the general public and whatever else can be invented to entice the minds and the unsuspecting to get their money and their support. I would recommend learning about the various levels of life and how they apply to a person's life. Then one will see and learn so much more and actually start to move into the higher areas and experience what very few ever do. So much of what is experienced today is from the creation of desires from past lives. When this country was being built, a lot of people lost their lives early, and so the desire to complete what they started still exists within them. But as time and events continue on at the fast pace that they do, so does the desire to continually do more until one finds a better replacement for what is on the earth alone. Life makes sense. And it is a lot more fun to understand what is really taking place as opposed to all the created ideas that are usually silly stories to entice people into becoming a donor for something that leads them astray. When we center on really learning about ourselves with real guidance, our life changes the way we want it to, and not according to so many of the good-sounding ideas that are really worlds for sale. So, any ideas about that?
Oh, I just wanted to share that the new presentation here that we are sharing is very unique. It's because we're for everybody, including the so-called bad guys. So anytime they can turn around and really have an adventure when they're done with their thrills and control, they can always take a turn, take a 180 and do something better for themselves. It takes a little bit. It might take more than for the average person, but we're here for everybody. That's the unique quality about us. We're not about good and evil and trying to really save the world necessarily. It's just or take out the bad guys or rebel or revolt. It's not about that. It's just waking up to what's real, and everybody's included. That's the neat thing about this. Everybody's included. Even the most evil reptilian out there, they have a chance to make a turnaround. But it takes a decision to do that. So what we're sharing might do that for some. They might take a look at this and see that there's a better way. And that's why we're here, to show that there are options, better options.
Yeah, that's doing the same old all the time, year after year after year. You know, it's pretty boring. It seems like you're trapped in your own prison that you've made. There is a way out. And if you just take the time and really consider what your life is about, is this what you want? Again and again and again? It's pretty darn boring. There is a way. But, well, do you have another thing to say, Tim, in conclusion here? Because it looks like our time is just about up.
Yeah. About these rep systems, which is religious, educational, and political. We've all been through these things for lifetimes, and if a person wants to try something new, forget about being involved with the politics and with the religion and with the educational systems, the literal stuff, and find out for yourself if the new presentation connects you to real guidance and a real education by singing the new you for a start for like 15 minutes before you go to sleep. You have to take the risk to find out.
Well, you sure do. Yeah. It isn't easy, but it opens the door to so many wonderful experiences, a new fresh beginning, a new life, a new what's out there. There's things that you don't know yet. It's an adventure. It's a challenge. It's huge. How exciting is that? Your whole life can just be so wonderful. Things that you hadn't even known about, dreamed about. This can be yours. You don't have to stick with all this same old that we've done for lifetimes and lifetimes. It gets kind of boring. Let's try something new. It's a challenge, but it's worth it.
It's why we came here.
Yeah. Let's have some fun. What do you say, Val? Dean Val?
Yeah, it's about just waking up. About it's all encapsulated in the awareness part of it. Awareness supersedes everything. We keep saying that, and it's so true. You'll find that everything, all your needs and wishes and desires and everything you ever wished for, plus the things you never knew you did want or wanted, your heart's desire and more, so much more. It's all in the awareness, waking up to your real awareness and to the real universes. And I like to mention it's nothing like what you think it is. So, like Lila and Tim have been talking about, it just the old ways don't work anymore. And that's where you're taking a risk makes sense, because you have to step outside your comfort zone and the things you've known to see this, because to see this you can't stay the same in a way. You can't. You must it's not change, but you must become more aware to see it. People think you can just see it and stay the same, but you actually have to move from your position to a new position to see it. So we've been taught that you can do this by staying in your regular position and become enlightened or go to heaven or something like that. But it's actually learn how to move around with your positioning. Paul talked about that too. Learn to move your view around. It's like going to the gym and exercising your muscle. Will move your view around to different places, to different scenarios, situations. See it from other people's viewpoints, and they'll kind of loosen you up, loosen up your literal mind, and you'll be able to access your real awareness better that way, along with singing the new you and reading Dwayne's books. It's all there for everybody who wants to take the risk and decide to do so.
Yeah, but you don't have to give up your family. You don't have to give up anything that you achieved. If you worked hard to be a doctor or just a head of a corporation, you don't have to give all that up. I think maybe that's what people might think that this is. They have to go with this, the new presentation. They have to become a martyr and give up all the things that they love, the love of their wife and their children and their job and everything. But you don't have to do that. You can still explore, because this is with you only, not with the corporation or the children or the wife or whatever. You can still have that, which is wonderful. And you can still move forward. And that's exciting part. You don't have to give up anything. Everything just expands, even more so than you ever thought. Your family expands. Everything just improves. Isn't that worth a lot? I mean, you'll have more than you ever thought you had.
Well, your family will see it. Your family will see you seeing the is, and that will in itself, open them up to more opportunities for themselves, even if just by being around you, they'll pick it up both consciously and subconsciously. So you're a benefit for all life. Walking around this planet, you're a benefit. Yeah,
and so they give us, the family gives us support, to do our exploring.
Mm-hmm.
They say yay, instead of nay. Maybe they might say nay, but they really mean yay. Well, anyway, it's time for a bedtime. The bedtime stories to close now, and we'll see you next Thursday, the same time, same place. And we wish you sweet dreams, wonderful dreams, even more so than you ever thought. Be with us. Come on, it's fun. Wonderful. All right. Sweet dreams, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, Tim.
Good night. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
So we sing let's do the new you before we say good night. New you. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Happy dreams.
Yes, you bet.